And that's what makes Caitlin Clark so dangerous. That's what makes Caitlin Clark worthy of destruction.
What if I told you that a 22-year-old is already being compared to Michael Jordan? Caitlin Clark isn't just good, she's rewriting the WNBA playbook. But how did she go from college star to pro sensation so fast? Picture this: Clark's first WNBA game. The crowd's on edge. She steps onto the court and boom!
Her name is Caitlin Clark. She's got a boyfriend. She's white. She's got 2 parents. And according to Asia Wilson and the other Yas queens, because Caitlin Clark is proving just the opposite. No, leave these women alone. Let these women compete amongst themselves. And eventually, a superstar will emerge. She won't bow to black women. She won't acknowledge her privilege. Caitlin Clark.
She's dropping dimes, sinking threes, and leaving jaws on the floor. People are losing their minds. It's like they've never seen anything like her before. You know what's crazy? Some folks are already saying she's the MJ of women's basketball. That's insane, right? But here's the thing, Clark's success isn't just about her. It's about the whole WNBA. She's bringing in new fans, pumping up the energy, and showing everyone what women's basketball can be. So can she really live up to all this hype? Let's break it down and see how Clark is shaking up the game. You'd think a college phenom would light up the WNBA instantly, right? Not so fast. Clark's transition to the big leagues was more of a stumble than a sprint. How did she go from struggling rookie to breaking records alongside Jordan and Curry? Caitlin Clark's college career was nothing short of spectacular. She dominated the court, racked up awards, and had everyone talking about her future in the WNBA.
Riley Gaines? Swimmer, it's in the sports world. She has sparked this by taking a stand, is the problem. When actually Caitlin Clark is the solution. She's the inspiration. It's not a color thing. Do you have a pair where you stand your ground? You know, obviously I got an obsession with Caitlin Clark.
People were ready to crown her the next big thing before she even played her first pro game. But here's the thing about expectations. Sometimes they set you up for a fall. When Clark stepped onto the WNBA court for the first time, it wasn't the smooth sailing everyone expected. The game was faster, the players were stronger, and suddenly our college superstar looked human. It was like watching a fish out of water. Clark was struggling to keep up with the pace, getting pushed around, and her shots weren't falling like they used to. You know what's wild? This is exactly what happened to Michael Jordan when he first joined the NBA. Yeah, that Michael Jordan. He faced the same physical play and struggled to adapt at first. They even had a name for it, the Jordan Rules. And guess what? Clark was getting the same treatment. But here's where it gets good. Clark didn't let those early struggles define her. She did what all great players do. She adapted. She started studying the game harder, hitting the gym more, and figuring out how to use her skills in this new, tougher environment. And then boom, it all clicked. Clark started putting up numbers that had everyone's jaws on the floor. She was dishing out assists like candy, averaging 8.3 per game. That's leading the entire WNBA, folks. But she didn't stop there. Clark was also in the top 5 for points, rebounds, and blocks. That's not just good, that's superstar territory. Remember when I said she was breaking records alongside Jordan and Curry? I wasn't kidding. Clark had a game where she dropped 29 points, dished out 10 assists, and grabbed 5 rebounds. That's a stat line that puts her in the same conversation as Jordan and Curry, the only rookies to achieve those numbers multiple times. You want to know what's really impressive? It's not just the numbers, it's how quickly Clark figured out the pro game. She went from looking lost to looking like a veteran in what felt like no time at all. Experts are already talking about how she's changing the game, just like Jordan did in his early years. Bill Laimbeer, a guy who knows a thing or two about basketball, said something interesting. He pointed out that the WNBA and NBA are a lot alike when it comes to new talent shaking things up. Clark isn't just playing well, she's influencing how the whole game is played. And check this out, Jack McCallum, a big name in basketball writing, said, "Clark has made a Jordan-esque impact right away."
She's so critical. And again, as the Jackie Robinson, she has success. It's going to encourage and inspire other women to stand up And even though, Caitlyn's doing it very subtly, I want to bring a couple of things into this as it relates to Caitlin Clark, if at all. Maybe it's all unintentional, but I do know she's the target.
That's not just hype. That's recognizing how Clark is already changing the face of the WNBA. Clark's impact goes way beyond the stat sheet. Remember when Jordan's fame exploded off the court? Well, Clark's doing something similar, but in a league where that kind of fame was unheard of for rookies. What's she doing that's got everyone from Nike to Wilson scrambling to sign her? Let's talk numbers for a second. Clark's not just good, she's dominating. She's leading the WNBA in assists, dishing out 8.3 per game. And she's not just passing, she's scoring too, putting up 17.6 points per game. That's top tier stuff for any player, let alone a rookie. But here's where things get really wild. Clark's not just breaking records on the court, she's breaking the bank off it. You know how Jordan's shoe deals changed the game for NBA players? Clark's doing the same thing for the WNBA, and she's doing it as a rookie. Check this out. Clark just signed a historic 8-figure deal with Nike. That's not just big, it's groundbreaking. We're talking about a contract that could lead to her own signature shoe in the WNBA as a rookie. That's Jordan territory, folks. And it doesn't stop there. Clark's also got a deal with Wilson that's making history. She's the first athlete since Jordan to work on a multi-year basketball collection. Think about that for a second. Not LeBron, not Kobe, not Curry. The first since Jordan. That's the kind of impact we're talking about. You want to know what's really crazy? All these deals are adding up to about $3 million in endorsements for a WNBA rookie. That's not just unheard of, it's game-changing. Clark's not just elevating her own brand, she's lifting the entire league. But here's where it gets really interesting. Clark's success isn't just about her bank account, it's about what it could mean for every WNBA player. Just like Jordan's success led to bigger salaries in the NBA, people are already talking about how Clark could boost WNBA salaries in the future. Nancy Lieberman, a legend in women's basketball, said something that really hits home. What Caitlin Clark has done for the game is generational. That's not just hype, that's recognizing that Clark's influence could change women's basketball for years to come. Think about it. Clark's not just playing basketball, she's changing how people see the WNBA.
We understood that in order to push our league forward, we were going to have to combat these things. And then you know what else we learned? It feels good to stand up for yourself. I think everybody in the league can say that. But nobody ever let us do that. So what happened? We started to build a backbone. It feels even better to stand up for others. We started to learn that people were learning from us and able to follow us in a different way. And who are we following? Black women. I think again, I get sad when I talk about this a little bit in that we're still not talking about basketball.
No.
She's bringing in new fans, new sponsors, new opportunities. She's showing that women's basketball can be just as exciting, just as marketable as men's. And here's the thing, she's just getting started. This is her rookie season. Imagine what she could do in the next 5 years, the next 10. We could be watching the birth of a legend, someone who doesn't just play the game, but transforms it. You know what's wild? While Clark's making waves on the court, the WNBA is scoring some major wins off it. We're talking a TV deal that's got more zeros than you can count on both hands. But here's the real question, is Clark the catalyst or just perfect timing? Let's break it down. The WNBA just landed a massive $2 billion TV deal over 11 years. That's not just big, that's game-changing. And it's all happening right as Caitlin Clark steps onto the pro court. Coincidence? I don't think so. Clark's not just playing basketball, she's redefining it. Her style is electric, dynamic, and it's pulling in fans like a magnet. People who never gave women's basketball a second glance are suddenly glued to their screens. Why? Because Clark's challenging everything we thought we knew about the game. Check this out, Clark's WNBA playoff debut. It pulled in 1.84 million viewers. That's not just good, that's the most watched playoff game since the 2000 finals. We're talking 2 decades of records shattered in one night. But it's not just about TV numbers. Clark's impact is filling seats too. The Indiana Fever, her team, they've gone from the bottom half of the league in attendance to leading it. That's the Clark effect in action. You know who else had this kind of impact? Michael Jordan. When he hit the NBA, he didn't just change how the game was played, he changed how people watched it. And that's exactly what Clark's doing for the WNBA. Bill Laimbeer, a guy who knows a thing or two about basketball, said something interesting. He pointed out that the NBA and WNBA are mirrors when it comes to viewership and new talent. And Clark, she's driving WNBA fandom like we've never seen before. But here's where it gets really exciting. Clark's not just changing the game on the court, she's changing it off the court too. Remember how Jordan's partnership with Nike changed the sneaker game forever? Well, Clark's doing something similar with Wilson. She's the first athlete since Jordan to work with them on a line of basketballs. That's not just a deal, that's a statement. Nancy Lieberman, a legend in women's basketball, put it perfectly. What Caitlin Clark has done for the game is generational. She's not just playing basketball, she's inspiring a whole new generation of players and fans. Think about it. Kids are watching Clark and seeing possibilities they never imagined before. Young girls are picking up basketballs and dreaming of being the next Caitlin Clark. And boys, they're seeing that women's basketball can be just as exciting, just as competitive as men. This isn't just about one player having a good season. This is about changing perceptions, breaking barriers, and opening doors. Clark's showing the world that women's basketball isn't just a sideshow, it's the main event. And the best part, this is just the beginning. Clark's a rookie. She's got years ahead of her to keep pushing boundaries, breaking records, and inspiring fans. We could be watching the birth of a legend, someone who doesn't just play the game, but transforms it. Alright, let's talk about Caitlin Clark's wild ride. She went from college superstar to WNBA sensation faster than you can say three-pointer. But here's the thing, this is just the start. Clark's already breaking records left and right. She's joining legends like Jordan and Curry in the stats books. And off the court, she's making deals that are changing the game. Wilson, Nike, they're all lining up to work with her. But you know what's really crazy? This is her rookie season. Imagine what she'll do next year, or in 5 years. Nancy Lieberman said it best. What Caitlin Clark has done for the game is generational. She's not just playing basketball, she's changing it. So here's the big question. If this is what Clark can do as a rookie, what's women's basketball gonna look like in 5 years? I can't wait to find out.